Yo, I did all that and then I had my mic on. Funny. All right, so when I was a kid, I used to go to the Zulu parade on Mardi Gras. I remember looking at the writers and wondering who the people were underneath the face paint. Years later, that question turned into this series. So what you're seeing right now is the portrait of President Donald Trump. Now, the thing about the Zulu series is that, I'm not just making up these portraits of important people in blackface because they do have like white members or float riders in Zulu on Mardi Gras Day. Or I mean, they got guys that wear the gold jackets also. So for New Orleans, it's more of a tradition. I mean, the idea of the blackface paint came from a long, deep story that I will have a video about that I'm going to react to in the stream, and later on I'll turn it into like a YouTube video. But at the end of the day, this is all about the ideas of culture and dominoes. All right, so this is the portrait picture of President Trump I took to reference this right here. Had to go and put a lot of I guess expressions and ideas in there that you know you won't relatively see in a portrait of a president. So I just abstracted it a little bit. All right, so we got Al Gore. So typically I'll go in and do the traditional paint style of putting in the applications of the under the flesh red, do like the nice oil paint at the time when I made these on I think I used like Naples yellow and a little bit of some like pink rosy reds or something like that. So a lot of brush strokes goes in there, but I always started off with a line drawing underneath. We're gonna probably see a little bit of the process in another photo of the work in progress. But this is Al Gore now with the paint on his face. There you go. Same thing with President Obama. We started out with this one, nice little start off point. So a lot of these paintings I had to go into details when I make like the image of whatever president I'm creating. So the idea is to just get the important facial features and gestures instead of like making this big detail painting underneath. There you go. Like how I use like the scribbly brush technique, maybe like a flat or maybe a round. I think it's like a very small flat brush I use. And I just go in there and I make my little marks and stuff. Those strokes. This is a fresh painting right here when I create this. 2014. Let's see. It's all the same batch? Yeah, 2014. Damn near the same day. Alright. So this is a article from the exhibition that I'm going to go into and talk about. It was a show put on by my mentor and artist Dapper Bruce Lafitte. At the time he went by Bruce Davenport Jr. So he would put on these different shows, and at the oh my god, what is this called? Oh my god, not the front, oh my god, Home Space Gallery. It was on Saint Rock. It was right across the street from Saint Rock Tavern. But all in all, the idea of home space was like, artists come in there that's not known, maybe mid-career, and it was a little bit like at the Katrina that I used to start a show. I started a show around 2010. That was like my first gallery exhibition I was in, and with Bruce at the Home Space Gallery. This was like the second or third show that I was in with Bruce that he curated. And Eric Bookhart, who used to write for The Advocate, he used to have his own little column, or like maybe 2-3 pages in The Advocate where they talked about art and stuff that's going on. So in this particular article, he had like a weird or writing stuff, but at the same time, it came off like, all right, he's writing about my work. Thank God. So at the end, let's see, and you had to look twice to realize why John Isiah Walton's portraits of Zulu float riders look so creepy. They're all scowling white men, like Dick Cheney in blackface. Yikes! Keep that man away from the coconuts. So, this is the original, very first Zulu portrait. Ask me to create this palette again, I will be like, nah, I mean, it was. I think I was looking at a lot of Francis Bacon. You see like the greens underneath and like the different like browns and reds I was trying to put as the base of the face. It really helped out the composition at the end of the day. Same thing with George W. Bush. These were done like 2012, 3:13 a.m. Michael Brown. I think I still have that one. So this is what it looked like January 31st, 2012. So black paint on top. These are the very first two. So I had two different colors. I wanted to have this way of not making something look uniform, but at the same time I wanted to have every piece have like a little something different with it. So the collars is one thing I made sure to do. And this is the roster right here. Yep, this is the roster of 2014. We have, alright, we'll go in. We have Dick Cheney, Condoleezza Rice, John McCain, Ray Nagin, Steve Bonner, I think, Boehner, Ronald Reagan, Mitt Romney, Sarah Palin, Colin Powell, Dick Cheney again with the big head, Putin. We have Arnold. We have George again, Anthony Weiner, Bobby Jindal, Hillary again. Hillary is popular, man. I was saying a lot of those Hillarys. John McCain, Mitt Romney again, and Hillary 3. I think I did like 4 Hillarys. What did he? Alright, so here we go with the exhibition wall from the show that Bruce put on that got that review from Eric Bookhart. This one thing, man, it's like, this is so beginner level. Look how grainy that is, but that's a picture of me with an artist statement on top, and just like maybe a price list or something like that. I don't even know, or maybe my CV or something, which shouldn't be that long. All right, here goes a video. Sounds kind of like not happening right here. Alright, so that's some of my old gold leaf portraits I was doing about St. Aug, because the show was about basically having elements of Zulu of Mardi Gras within your work. So I'm thinking like, alright, it's gonna be a Mardi Gras themed show. Let me do these Zulu portraits. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I came up with the first 3. Now these first 3 portraits have all to do with Katrina, because this was the groupings in the administration that was in charge of the idea of FEMA, with Michael Brown and the president and the vice president as the guys that, you know, brought us to this new era of Katrina, post Katrina, New Orleans. And the red in the back, just, you know, this stands for like power, the idea of, you know, blood that was shed, and also the idea of the American flag, how you know, they have the red right underneath those stars and stuff like that. So the ideas of these political stars on top of the red kind of like aligns with that idea also. But the main thing was the idea of red means royal power, you know, in charge. So that's why the red was in there. Ain't no banging, homie. First off, I got a case of the so you gotta excuse me, dog. This is like, I mean, it says 2022, but this is like back in 2012. So, you know, beard was a little darker, you know, hair was a little bit fuller.
Or just leave material in my pieces all together. Um, Right now I'm going to the route of doing this body work called Bullets for Breakfast. I'm using cereal boxes with the leaf material with images of people, like I do with this Dick Cheney. This is a part of a series, a three-piece series, like a triptych called Right-Wing Zulu. Um, my previous body of works were of surrealism scapes, in which I was trying to discover my path to to where I want to go with my art career. And it's still a path I'm on right now. Still trying to find my way. Uh, but that's the path and discovery of life for everybody.
What's the inspiration on dealing with artwork?
My inspiration basically is the history which was embraced. I wish I embraced, and I I love a lot. Not kind of love a lot. I love a lot, and just the advancement of it, and the chance of children adding to it, to what I can bring and what I can bring to it also, all just coming together. And this is the moment we're in right now, and hopefully I'll be able to add more to it as time goes on in my lifetime.
When did you start doing art?
I started when I was like 6 years old, man. I was doing the Ninja Turtles with crayons. My mom's on my grandma's kitchen table. When I was eating dinner, supposed to eat dinner, and that's why I got it started there. And I started tracing wizard comic book covers and stuff like that, and just watching like Japanese cartoons. My cousin introduced me to Japanese animation on a summer afternoon. When he was just coming by. What it was called Ninja Scroll. And ever since then, it just changed my whole life.
So, being an artist and living in New Orleans, do you find it more complicated to get shows in New Orleans, or?
I would say it's kind of, yeah, that's what it is. It's kind of hard to get shows. It's kind of everything's happening at one time right now with with a lot of big influences from outside entities, and it just the culture of art in the city just rising, which makes it very, very competitive, and that's a real good thing. So that makes me have to rise my talents to another level. But yeah, it's kind of hard because of the competitiveness, but that's always a good thing.
What high school you attended?
I attended St. Aug High School for 3 years, and I went to Sarah T. Reed. I mostly did that to get an early release.
What about your college? Any college?
Yeah, Delgado. I went there for like X amount of years. I'm not going to specify how long I've been there, but I was lucky and grateful to have met Walter F. Johnson, one of my favorite teachers of all time, Robin Cole, definitely. A lot of those guys helped me out and helped me get into the art world by how they taught me.
Yo, shout out to Brenda Hannigan. How the fuck I forgot her name? Like, yo, she was like there. Like, she was important, That painting class in City Park really helped boost up my confidence. So I cannot remember. Oh yeah, May Niolette also very important teacher to help me out with 3D design. Like I think 2D design. We had to actually come up with ideas, composition, and imagery that sync together. It's kind of like a very important class that I took at Delgado. So
So, so what other shows you showed in?
I showed with Bruce Davenport at the MLK Library with the Left Feet and Friends, the Home Space, the Miss Abrams show, the Good Stuff show, and the Gumbo show. I showed at Barristers and UNO's Gallery Conjunction show, group show, which was the Artists That Wish We Were Dead too. And I had some other shows, but it's kind of a long track record, I guess. Not really too long, but it's my too much stuff to talk about.
So if you wasn't doing art, what would you be doing?
I have no clue. There's no alternate universe. This is it. I wouldn't know what else to do, I guess. Probably watch basketball, become a bum or something. I don't know. Watch TV, play video games.
So what's in your near future as an artist?
Just getting my latest bodies of works done, and just trying to explore new avenues into using new medium and stuff like that. Just so I can see, just trying to expand my mind and my horizons on what I can do for the art community and for myself as an artist.
Yeah, you're right. So give me your name again.
My name is Isiah Walton.
Give me your website.
It's, I got my website coming up, but I do have an old one. It's www.virtual.
I still got that same email address. Shout out to me, man. Continuity. Continuity.
Isaiah.com. My email is johnisaiah85@yahoo.com. That's JOHNISIAH85@yahoo.com.
There it is.
All right, we're back. Okay, so going forward, I would say this is a show that was in 2016. So it's like a little time jump we going on. So when you look at the portraits, you know, they have like this different element now, this green glow around them. It's like things were changing, you know. 4 years later, I was still working the same idea, but the political environment had completely changed. There's like Bernie mania happening. The idea of Hillary versus Trump started to manifest itself, and boom, the ACA show happens. It was a wild time, man. But you know, this article right here highlights me at the beginning of the review. Said John Isaiah depicts Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in blackface. No doubt a controversial move in an election year where controversy is the word of the day. The artists give the same treatment to other politicians, among them Bernie Sanders, Ted Cruz, Chris Christie, and Russia's Vladimir Putin. The idea stems from his childhood, where Walton would attend the Zulu parade on Mardi Gras and wonder who the people were under the paint. The Zulu portraits are included in the Acadiana Center for the Arts American Beauty exhibit. That's one thing I want to go over is, you know, what about the blackface? You know, what about the history? You know what I'm saying? Let's go over some videos highlighting that.
Blacks formed thousands of mutual aid groups across the country, mimicking the all-white ones they could not join. Social aid and pleasure clubs, benevolent societies, and fraternal organizations marked a burgeoning new wave of opportunity in communities of color. Some organizations, like the Young Men Olympians, which is the oldest benevolent club in the city and founded in 1884, acted on faith and helped African Americans who needed financial help burying their deceased.
It was restricted, where African Americans started to do a lot of things to support each other.
But in 1909, another mutual aid organization was taking its first steps. A group of men, the Tramps, walked into the Pythian Theater to see a play titled There Never Was and Never Will Be a King Like Me, based loosely off the Zulu ethnic group in Africa. Inspired, what would become the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club in time would provide service to their community and revolutionize the largest free party on earth, Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Zulu came from benevolent society. The thing about Zulu is that it's more than just a brotherhood. It's family.
Over the years, philanthropy, combined with the flash and fare of leading the Mardi Gras Day parade, made Zulu world-renowned. But as the world changed, some noticed similarities between the masking of Zulu and blackface makeup once popularized in the minstrel shows of old.
The makeup was really a homage to the founding years of the organization, and it's theater makeup that we use. In the 60s and 70s, at the height of the Black Pride movement, there was a huge push against the Mac-Blakeham requirements, so much that the membership dropped to 17.
Required by city law to mask and with limited resources, eventually an uneasy but obscure compromise was struck with the makeup. But in doing so, the tradition of Zulu continues to survive as it's done for over 100 years. In Catholicism, Carnival is the celebration before the start of the Lenten season, but in New Orleans, Mardi Gras transcends religious denomination and assumes the spirit of the city. In 2005, the spirit was broken with Hurricane Katrina. But as it's been proven, the spirit of New Orleans is a phoenix. The following year, Zulu led the charge, making the powerful statement to parade.
The world was watching New Orleans. And at the time, the argument is, well, most of the victims of Katrina were black. Zulu had to be the one to say, we want to parade. And I think that was a critical moment in Mardi Gras history.
And you got to have some normalcy back. I mean, this thing, Katrina, really took lives. The only way you can get back to life is to live life.
I can tell you that as president of the club, I have no question that this organization is going to be around for another 100 years.
And let me say, most African Americans from out of town, they don't buy that at all.
So it's a time for us to revisit, are these images actually elevating black folk in a particular type of way? Or are they in some sort of ways holding it back?
Some traditions are bad traditions. So the world changes, and we have to be in tune with what's happening in the world.
And I come to think of Zulu and their costuming in a similar way as I think of the use of the N-word within the black community. You have some people who emulate it and they think, we have appropriated it. We can use it in various types of ways as a term of endearment because we know our complexity. But it's off limits for people who are non-black. Should it be something that, say, white Zulu members should not partake in? Or is it one of those instances in which it completely has to be transformed or revisited in the 21st century in the same ways in which we're visiting the monuments to the Confederacy?
I don't know what's going to happen with Zulu's tradition, but whatever Zulu decides, I think it needs to be reiterated that that doesn't mean that anybody else should be doing blackface.
365 other days of the year, our black face is the one we're born with. And it's usually good enough.
Yup. That's Zulu. All right, hold up. All right, so in the year 2014, I had the great honor of meeting Diego Cortez. He put together a show titled Reparations, Contemporary Artists in the from New Orleans. I think it's part of the Benetton's Imango Monday. What's it called? Imango Monday? It's like a book where they have different parts of, I guess, the planet, where they have a special book laid out for maybe 130 artists from each community. Like they say, let's say they have artists in Zimbabwe. They have 135 of their best artists come through, do a small canvas, and boom, it's in the book. So I personally had to reach out to you. In this case, it was Diego Cortez, who discovered Basquiat in the Mud Club back in 1979, and he put him in his New York New Wave show, and went on to work with Gagosian, introduced Basquiat to like Bruno Bischofberger. Then he discovered a whole bunch of other artists, worked with Andy Warhol. My God, so many different artists he worked with, man. You know, it'll be like going down a roll call, you know, from the 90s greatest, discover where these guys came from, hit list. But all that being said, his curatorial eye had him in a position to where he's like in the mainframe of the art world from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and maybe I would say like the 2010s. He was still a part of that because he was part of the Basquiat Authentication Committee. Also, that's another story. Anyway, my friend Diego went ahead and you know, I think he just really started to like fuck with the South. Like he really started to promote artists from the South. And I was amongst that group of people based off of what happened when I gave my piece to the book project with the small canvases I talked about. We started to work from there. And this is where this flag comes from, where Kathy Hudson, Diego's sister, and Diego Cortez request your presence. Actually, this was my first solo exhibition. So for it to be with Diego and it's out of town in I guess that with that holy trinity of colleges in North Carolina, whereas UNC, Duke, and I think Wake Forest. Anyway, this was a show that happened, I think, yeah, like October, November of that year of 2014. Actually, no, I think the show opened in September. I think it opened up because I remember they had like a opening game kickoff on Thursday night. But anyway, Carl Joe Williams, he came with me on this excursion to go to this first show. That was a funny road trip. So it's me, Carl Joe Williams was one of my best friends out here in the art game. We created a collective together called Level with 3 other artists that, you know, we're gonna get into that history later on. But anyway, I brought Carl with me. Carl could probably testify that we almost died getting to North Carolina, man. Diego was driving like a New Yorker, and we got to this point to where we're like at that South Carolina, North Carolina leg of that trip, and they had a bunch of cones in the road, and they had one left lane open. We're driving, I see the cones getting smaller, and there's like a big 18-wheeler to our right. I'm looking like, damn. Actually, no, we were in the right when the cones were getting smaller and the 18-wheeler to our left. Somehow, Diego just like was driving so fast that the truck was coming, and this is us. Wait, this is truck. This is us. Somehow, the cones never got touched, and we never got touched by 18-wheeler. Like he drove that shit so close. It was out of control, but it's a memory. I can always remember that. When you get in a car with a New Yorker, expect the motherfuckers to be driving crazy. But fun show. Met Trevor from Duke University, and yeah, a whole bunch of people, man. This is crazy. Like Ellen Slavic. So this is me at the Identity Books. Man, this phones are great. All right. Diego took this picture of me and Carl Joe Williams. You know, Identity Books had a lot of books at the space. The space is called Identity Books, and that shit was like filled with books. There you go. They had like prints. They had all type of stuff this dude had. I was impressed by the massive amount of stuff he had in this collection. All right. Actually, let's go back. All right, we went down this road call already. We got Dick Cheney, Mitt Romney, Hillary Clinton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Hillary. Those pieces sold. These are the other paintings: Berlusconi, Putin, the Biden, the Gore, Boehner, and that's Sarah Palin. We have George Bush, Part 2. We have Dick Cheney, Colin Powell, sorry. Condoleezza Rice, Michael Brown from the original OG3, Bobby Jindal, and Ray Nagin. Getting closed out with Obama, both Obamas. I think I have both of these still. Alright, 2014. You know, just the same me. Yeah, cut the fro off a little bit. Grew out this, yeah, I just went like straight up, like, I shaved my head and my beard. These are my Katrina J's. You can tell they're from the Katrina era because they had that green bubble. But we got the paintings on the floor. You know, they're about to hang it up because I ain't look nothing. Me and Carl Joe Williams. Ken. This is Kathy's husband. One thing I thought was interesting was these brick wall, man. Like the brick wall inside the building was interesting. All right, this is me for No Dead Artists. This is back in 2017. The Putin painting didn't make the trip to North Carolina, but I think I showed it like, I think I showed that painting like 2 or 3 times. It sold, so it takes a while for these things to like get made and get gone. You know what I'm saying? All right, so later on that year, or was it earlier before the Know That Artist show? I requested to be in a show with my friends Catalyst Collective, and they were showing at the Sanctuary in the Bywater, which was a church that was converted into a multidisciplinary space where they had a gallery, and then they had a space for like productions, like plays and stuff like that. So yeah, so this McKenna show came from that opportunity from the space I just talked about, you know, the Sanctuary. That show got canceled due to the play group. I'm not gonna say their names, but they came through. They said they didn't like the works being blackface or whatever. The director who I met the night before was cool. We chopped it up. You know, I was about to go get drinks with her. She was cool, and she like took all the paintings down and stuff. So I'm hearing this phone call. I'm like, damn, bro, like, can't believe this is happening. Boom, it blew up. Yeah, here go the show. Yeah, the Sanctuary. Nice. That's from the lady that sent out the memo after I sent something out. Actually, no. Was that me that sent that? Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. Yep. It was crazy, y'all. But yeah, so fast forward, you know, the show didn't happen at Sanctuary. It got moved to the McKenna Museum of Art, and then that show got canceled because somebody from the community decided, hey, bruh, we can't be having these Zulu paintings up in the McKenna Museum, bruh. So my show got canceled again. I got the same phone call from my friend who's curating the show, but this one was weird because we were supposed to have like a panel about censorship. So that was funny. All right, where did they go after that? So Love Artist Collective, we come through, make these catalogs. I featured them in it. I think I only got like 1 or 2 of these catalogs. Antenna was it was an antenna, or was it the press? I forgot what they're called. Like this place on St. Claude where they do a lot of printing and print press, I think. Anyway, so they're documented in that format in a booklet. And this is me in 2018. Actually, 2017. Wow, it's crazy. Paul Costello was one of my favorite photographers. He took this photo of me in my St. Claude studio. Thanks to Liz and Jules for having Level Collective have that space for so long. This place we had for free. We had lights and water included, and no rent. And it was a cold day. I remember I had my jacket. I always kept that jacket in the studio when it got cold because the AC wasn't, you know, the heater wasn't working too good. But I remember he's like, "Hey man, put that jacket on, put the thing on," and now this photo exists. One of my favorite photos. Oh yeah, they go with the space heater. This is like an interesting studio, man. Right after that, I had my Joan Mitchell residency, so it was like things were changing. You know, it was like a wild time in between when I had my first New York solo show and this moment. A lot of stuff happened in between. Then in 2019, I get accepted into the Atlanta Biennial. Daniel Fuller and I forget who the other curator was, but they included me in the show. I flew there in between me having a residency at the Macedonian Institute. That's where I did those Nike original Nike drawings before I worked with Nike. But what a fun time in Atlanta, right? They went ahead, sent so many cool pictures. I still use this picture today. I might use this as an AI video picture, but yo, I got her looking crazy because yo, the reason why I had Connolly's looking crazy in this photo, in this painting, is because bro, she was like buying designer clothes, doing like Katrina, bro. Like people were about to die. And she over here buying designer. It's wild. All right, so this is a piece of information from Daniel Fuller. John Isiah Walton confronts tensions and stinging social commentary with a sly humor and biting satire. He transforms American political figures, illustrations, and infamous ones namers like Cheney, Hillary, Bush, McCain, and Condi. Like the fact that you can abbreviate their names and make this statement is funny, but that's what we are. We're in the abbreviated type of I think world we live in, especially now. Into blackface members of the Crew of Zulu, starting in New Orleans as the Mutual Aid and Benefits Society. You saw a video about that. The club's primary focus was a form of insurance in black communities. In 1909, as a response to blatant white supremacy in Louisiana around Carnival, the Zulus dressed in blackface as tongue-in-cheek response to images of black people in minstrels. The iconic Fijian Temple stays a vaudeville production. Okay, yeah. There never was, and there never will be a king like me, in which the performance depicting South African Zulu people in blackface and grass skirts. Damn, bro. Alright, the Zulus sought to flip the connotation of the caricature to depict royalty and strength as African Americans were living and thriving in the face of violence following Reconstruction and the ascension of Jim Crow. Oh. Alright, so one thing about Daniel Fuller, he understood the assignment. Like the back of the wall was already red, so he was like, hey, do you want to paint over this? I'm like, no, you can leave it red. And this came to be. Alright, so there was some articles written about me from Burn Away, which featured, actually, was this Burn Away? Anyway, as you can tell, the Atlanta Bando officer, I think they just have my photos included, but they didn't really write about it in this article. But I don't think this was Burn Away. Alright, it's Arts Atlanta. Okay, and then what is currency? You can't get timer than John Isiah Walton's painting series Zulu Portraits, which he began in 2014. They present politicians, white and blacks, smeared with black paint, until the New Orleans artists symbolically inducting subjects into the African American Crew of Zulu. That some of the participants wear blackface during Mardi Gras seems a sardonic and power switching variation on the Paul Laurence Dunbar poem, Beware the Mask. Shout out to it. Alright, so this was the last place they were shown at Grider Gallery in 2021. And that's it. That's the story of Zulu. I think in the future we're going to be covering black paintings, rodeo, humidity, and racines. So we're going to be going over a lot of my different series, but this one right here was Zulu. Thank you for watching.